welcome to Get Out of Rap TV. March the 26th. How are we all doing? Let me first start by thanking DDC, Outsourcing Solutions, Evaluation, and OneCom. They are my partners that allow me to bring you this show. I work with them because they're just lovely, lovely people, and we do some really interesting stuff together. So thank you very much. Hello. Yes. Danny is here, the main man from all things culture. Hello, Alan. Good morning, sir. Beautiful weather for golf as well, Alan, there at the golf center. Um, Please remember, I look through the comments on LinkedIn afterwards and I see the other week I missed Sham. Sham, your comments didn't show up. I felt awful. So I'm not ignoring you, I promise. It just doesn't come through. So if they don't, either refresh LinkedIn or if somebody else could say, by the way, Sham says this. Aman, hello. How are you? It's great to see you. Amanda's here. Hi, Amanda. How's things going up in lovely Scotland? And Phil, top of the morning to you too as well, sir. Let's get to know each other a little bit better. So, are you an early bird or are you a night owl? I'm trying to figure out the best rhythms for me and amend my calendar around that. Circadian rhythms. I think the middle of the day is a bit of a problem for me. I would say I'm probably both. I am an early bird and a night owl. It's just the middle of the day. I don't. Yes, Mark. Hello. Good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Absolute great ops manager, all things fintech is Mark. So, and he's looking for a new role. I couldn't recommend him highly enough. So, if you're not all connected, please do connect and let's look out for each other. Yes. So, you're the same as me, Amanda. I'm an early bird and I like to stay up late, but then middle of the day, I'm a bit of a wreck. I used to be a night owl. Now I'm a middler. Oh, nice. Bet. I like a late rise and an early night. Ah, the lovely Katie's here. Had a great chat with Katie yesterday. Um, Lovely, lovely human being over at OneCom. Absolutely knows her stuff. Um, I'm a 3M subscriber currently, and thanks, Mark. No worries. You're welcome. 3 a.m. That's pretty good. I'm 5:30. Um, Phil says, when does an early bird finish and a night owl start? So I would say pretty much after this, I'll go and walk you know who. I can't really say his name in case he comes in. And then by about 1, I start to feel like there's a bit of a slump. A night owl, I'd say 11 p.m. Keith, hello, sir. Over 50, so early night and late morning. And Keith, thank you for your message the other day. My inbox is a bit like a skip fire. I need some help with it, but I can't afford to pay anyone. But I do see your message the other day, and I will get back to you. You're too kind. No, genuinely. Firmly in the early bird camp. Alan is up with an early tee off. You see what I've done there, Alan? I prefer being a night owl, but most productive and switched on as an early bird, says Phil. Yeah, my night owl is my kind of downtime. Really, I just chill with you know who on the sofa. But in terms of getting work done, early mornings are best for me, whether that's the gym or actual actual work. So we've got a nice even split there. As I was putting this show together, and like I say, if your comments aren't showing, please do refresh, or if someone else can just say somebody else has said this, because I don't want to miss anyone out. Katie says, I aspire to be an earlier bird. Any tips? Welcome. There is some logic behind some of the alarms that are in certainly my iPhone. The gentler ones. There's a sleep setting in your iPhone as well that I find really works, and it will gently wake you up rather than something that's going off like a nuclear alarm. Danny's coming in. Katie, drink far too much water before you go to bed. Yes. Um, it pains me to say this, but this will be my last live session for a while. Come this time next week, I will have this pesky thing known as a job starting. Oh, Mark, that's great. That's great news. I'm so happy for you, mate. Don't worry, everything's recorded. We just won't have your input. You can, once you get your feet under the table, you can start sneaking off for this. Early bird, says Perry. Good. Well, I say good. There's no, it's just that I am as well. I can be both, says Aman. Although I prefer late nights rather than early mornings. I think all those early mornings when I worked in hospitality have taken their toll. Yeah, that's really interesting. A few of my friends are shift workers, and it's not something I'd ever really want to do. Obviously, I did late shifts as an agent on the phones, but they weren't through the night. 100%. Well, look, Mark, well done. We're really pleased for you. It's great. It's great news. Quite a few people on the list of the that I share every Monday left. Actually, they got jobs, which is great, and some new people got added. But yeah, we're all very happy for you, Mark. Alan, nice one, pal. Now then, what struck me when I was putting together this show today, can you believe it that it is now 4 years ago that our world changed? Um, as an industry, not only, yes, Katie, you're dead right. Congrats to Mark. But 4 years ago, it is now, our world changed. We entered lockdown. We were just starting the descent into the pandemic, and our industry stepped up. You know, our industry, much maligned in the press, but we did something we never thought possible. We moved whole scale, pretty much, our entire workforce to home with absolutely minimal disruption to services. And I think providing that continuity of people still being able to ring their utilities providers, their housing association, their bank, whatever it may be, reassured people, on a subconscious level. We carried on. We carried on regardless of everything else that we were going through, and it's hard to believe that that was 4 years ago. Um, for those of you on TikTok, there's a bit of a trend going where you talk about you show yourself 4 years ago and you're where you were and where you were now. Because I don't know about you, but the whole pandemic has kind of bent time a little bit. It doesn't seem real that it was 4 years ago. But what a thing we did as an industry amongst a once in a lifetime event that resulted in too many senseless deaths and tragedies. But we got through it, and I just wanted to note that on today. The role I was in moved 6,500 people from 17 offices to 6,500 bedroom, kitchen, offices inside 11 days, including laptop, secure telephony. Herculean, completely, Danny. Um, we are great. What more can we say? We are great. We don't say it enough. And this was a real example of that in the most trying of times. And if you think back, the government didn't really know what was happening. So we had rollback and contingency plans in place too. Yes, we did. Never more so as our disaster recovery and business continuity plans been more tested. And I'm sure we're better now as a result of this. It kind of broke the mold for what we can do when it comes to home working, hybrid, being flexible. What an effort by all of us. So I didn't want to go past today without just making a note, and I'm pleased to be sharing this space and time with you all. Alan says turned a fully contact center around in 4 days. Only 70 FTE. You don't own. There's no only about it whether it was 10 or 700. Alan, 70 FTEs. a big achievement, but it was a great time, weirdly, and I learned loads selfishly. Lol. I don't think there's anything wrong. Me and my stepdaughter were talking in the car the other day, and we both said we kind of missed some of the aspects of lockdown. They missed me being involved in the homeschooling. We spent a lot of good times together. We got to connect with each other a lot better and connect with our friends and family a lot better. And I think it would do us well to, kind of remember some of those things. We're very quick to forget. But so I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that you learnt loads and you enjoyed elements of it completely. I won't lie, it made me ill. Long hours, tough work for a long time, lessons in there too. Yes, very true. I remember an agent saying, "Please don't make me work from home. I live with my in-laws." For the love of God, no. Anything but that. That's very funny, Phil. It was a time when true leaders stepped up in a time of uncertainty. Yeah, because you put aside your own fears and concerns and worries and really lent into our role as leaders and providers of services. You didn't necessarily just have to be a leader to be able to show great kind of resilience and courage to keep going. Hey Spencer, how you doing? During the pandemic, I saw loads of hedgehogs, wild rabbits, foxes, and badgers on the road, which was amazing. Now, what happened? Yeah, very true. It was lovely, wasn't it, to see nature have a bit of a break from us. Now you'll probably see all of those things on the road, but they'll be dead. So again, we definitely benefited in many respects, notwithstanding the great tragedy, of course. How many? I didn't know you had a cat conversations. Did we start? Many of us started to see our teams far more as real people, and that's never a bad thing. Now, at Disrupt, I spoke about that as a precursor to our panel. Regardless of scale, we had to get to know people individually, Danny, as you say, and we had to understand far more about how they were and how they showed up for work and what adjustments they needed because we were in their rooms and the dynamic changed. We had to get to know people from the senior leadership teams, had to get to know people that they might not have ever known. So yeah, some real good lessons. um so many people stepped up outside their field of expertise. Truly a remarkable, never to be done again experience. Yeah, Phil, I think you're right. People did have to do different things. I took on many more roles. I wasn't equipped to do to do any of them, but I just gave it a go. I miss all the online quizzes, especially the family and friends one. Yeah, it's true, Keith, isn't it? I certainly see my family less than I did then. It was crazy to see the sea in South Sea. It looked like the Med. It was so clear. Um, Perhaps we need these circuit breakers now and again, just without the grief. Delivering training was complex and supporting new starters. However, we ploughed through and did our best. Well done, us, I say, Aman. Lovely, lovely point. Um, Now then, before we crack on, I just want to refer you to something I'm very excited about. I don't know if my co-host is going to be here at the moment, or I might be missing her comments, but I've mentioned this before. It's a great webinar. We were chatting about it both yesterday and last week with my friends at OneCom, with lovely Katie. And this is going to be a great one. It's quite far in the future, so it's a chance for you to put it in your diary to make sure you go because your engagement will be brilliant. If we could get you interacting with us live, that would be brilliant. It's on the 30th of April. Neris, the amazing Neris Caulfield, is going to be there. Nick, who is the most chilled man I think I've ever met, and he's going to be brilliant. I will also be there just for the lols. Um, Unlock the power of agent engagement and empowerment. Yeah, there she is. Look, she's still here. Yes, the lovely Katie. Now, you can register here. Please do come along. We can come mob-handed, bring flares and flags. It's fine, and you're allowed to drink as well, apparently. So, but it's a key topic. It's a topic I love. It's a topic Neris loves, and it would be great to see you all there. Hopefully, we can share some tips and content. And one come, I have some great resources that we're going to be dipping into. Jordan's coming, which is going to be brilliant because Jordan always adds value. So I will just share this again. You can register there. Katie's dropped it in the comments. Please do come along. I'd appreciate it. And right, okay, I don't want to miss this. Many people call me idealistic and complain that I bang the culture drum too much. Do you? I do not. I would never complain about that, though, Danny. But this is what it's about: having a common shared purpose and removing all the barriers so that everyone can contribute to that purpose in the best way they can. That is what culture is really about, not pizzas. That is very, very true. Danny Wareham, I still miss people in the office, though. Will they ever come back? Very good question, Phil. I think a lot are. Katie, this one is for you from my good friend Spencer. Spencer's deaf. Does OneCom offer a closed captioning support for everyone? I will let Katie answer that. I hope that they do, and I'm sure by between now and then, Spencer, we can have that sorted out. And this is a really good point. We'd love to know if there's anything in particular you'd like to ask the panel. Keep it on the topic, though, please. It's a live session, which is great. There are some webinars where I'll still get good value from them, but they're recorded. I much prefer live. And this one is going to be live, and we're going to have a lot of fun with your questions. We can make it really, really powerful. Loved your piece on culture. It's how you feel on a Sunday night. And I'm assuming that's aimed at Danny, Phil, because he writes some great stuff on culture. If you work for Dell, JP Morgan, or L'Oreal, perhaps. Yeah. So Dell, amazingly, their policy the other day was insane. So, Katie, back to Spencer. Hi, Spencer. This is a great question. Let me look into this for you and get back to you. We use GoToWebinar, so I'd hope that would be a feature. Yes, Spencer, we will keep you in the loop and make sure that we support that. Something else I mentioned last week, a few of you have jumped onto already. Our good friend Rula Samara is head of contact center at Navuna Finance. She started as an agent, team leader, contact center manager. Believe it or not, she went into labor on the contact center whilst on shift. Her current daughter, who's pictured here with a gorgeous smile, is Layla. Layla was born with cystic fibrosis, and Rula has been on a campaign to get her access to what would be life-prolonging drugs, and she's now fully into sharing and championing the Cystic Fibrosis Trust. I want us to support that as well. We are a subgroup of Rula's Just Giving page. If you would like to support Rula, she's trying to raise £20,000. The contact center, and she's saying this is the contact center world is doing this. It would be great if you can contribute. In my newsletter, I will put the link, but you've got the QR code here for the Just Giving page. I will be doing some sponsored events to try and raise money, but let's get behind Rula and Layla. It's a condition with no cure, and the Cystic Fibrosis Trust are the main means to finding that. So any support would be grateful. Okay. Oh, yes. So I've done that one. Sorry. You're very welcome. I'm always here if ever you need my support, and that is from Spencer. So we've missed this. We haven't spent much time on this recently, so we are going to do one of our favorite sections, and that is It's the read along. It is the read along. Now we are still just to finish the WFM section. If you remember, we are doing the UK Contact Center Decision Makers Guide for 2024 from Contact Babel. It's a great publication. We've already done a couple of them, and we are now coming to the tail end of the WFM section. And this is the decision makers were asked to rate the functionality and capabilities of their workforce management system, whether they were excellent, good, average, or poor, or they did not use. And if you look here, the ease of making intraday changes is 21% said it was excellent, 46% said it was good. The next function that people liked the most was the ability to handle multiple agent skill sets. One of the things I found strange was kind of middle of the road here, these two, long-term planning and forecasting and agent self-scheduling weren't that prominent. And certainly agent self-scheduling, if we're talking about flexibility, enticing people into our industry, you would think that self-scheduling is a key functionality that people would love and use a lot. 27% in total if you count excellent and good. So not really that high. And 46% don't use it. 11% said it was poor. So I found that quite interesting. Long-term planning and forecasting, again, 34% said it was of average. Phil, good point. Trust issues with agents. I really hope not. But you're probably sadly true. We can't look at a group of professionals and say we don't trust them because they're agents. But if the functionality's there and there's built-in parameters that stop you missing gaps, why can't we make better use of self-scheduling? And we're going to be talking on that webinar about agent empowerment and engagement. Owning your own rota is a massive part of that. Owning when you work to a certain extent is a huge part of giving people empowerment and engagement and trusting them, as you say, Phil. And it is a shame that this doesn't feature more highly. Now, I don't know if that's because there's a great percentage that don't use it, or maybe that's that they don't have it. It's not available within their functionality, but it certainly would be nice to see. Now, WFM, when we think of technology, we don't often think of it being cloud-based, but there has been a big increase, certainly over the last 8 years. If you look at this is the extent to which cloud-based WFM is being used. And the bottom one there, the dark blue, is we use this functionality. It's now in the cloud. We use this functionality now. Cloud within 2 years is yellow. Red is no plans for cloud. And the black is we do not use this. We don't use the cloud. So when you think in 2015, only 12% of the respondents said they have WFM, cloud-based WFM. Now we're looking at 42% of the respondents use cloud-based WFM, which I think is really interesting. But there is still opportunity there. There's still potential for more people to use it, to get rid of on-premises kit and replace it with cloud-based, which you would think would have more functionality and is certainly lower cost. That, for those of you that are following this really closely, takes us to, that's page 63. We're now heading into something that was brought up in the team leader community the other day. Often in the community, we have team leaders and other leaders asking questions about their contact center. And one that came up yesterday was the next section that we're going into, which was headsets. So I never knew this, by the way, as well. So hopefully this is informative to you. This is based on the hundreds of decision makers that were surveyed in the Contact Babel report, what headset manufacturer, Phil, this is a good one. I think we called WFM XL in 2015. Many still do. That's the reality, Phil, isn't it? But yeah, very good. Um, were you aware of this? That Polyplantronics accounted for or account for 75% of the headsets out there. Now, these were the decision makers that were surveyed as part of this report. It might not be reflective of the whole industry, but it probably is. 38% then is GN, Netcom, Jabra, 25% Sennheiser, and 3% other, some of the newer guys out on the town. Um, where you are, what do you use, or what is your preference? Which ones do you or would you recommend if someone said to you, "What's the best headset to get?" I'd be interested in your opinion and your response. But I was going to say an interesting split there, but it's pretty high in the Plantronics dominance, let's say. Okay, now we now move on to roles using wireless headsets. There was an interesting comment here as well that said, historically, there has been a strong negative correlation between the contact center's size and its use of wireless headsets, i.e., large contact centers were less likely to use them. But recently, this pattern has all but disappeared. In terms of the job roles that are more likely to use wireless headsets, supervisors will use these more frequently, with the growth in in their use this year amongst frontline agents too. Um, back to the headsets. Let me just go back to this one. Mark says Sennheiser were always great, but way too expensive for large contact centers. Currently using a JPL, however. Interesting. And I think Danny is with you on this one. Plantronics is a little cheaper for bulk, I believe. They're perfectly good if the environment has noise cancelling, white noise, bigger desk, etc. If it's crowded, you get background noise, and hold that thought, Danny. But here we go. Wireless headsets. What are your views on them? You can see here that for supervisors, all of their in 14% of the case, all of their supervisors are using wireless headsets. 21% are using some, 60% none. Frontline agents, 10% of the respondents said all of their agents are using wireless headsets, with 12% saying some of them were using wireless headsets. Um, you notice how some centers have different headsets for agents and other better ones. Team leaders, supervisors, managers. Yes. I used to be very protective of my headset, which wasn't allowed actually. I used to try and put a little marker on it, like tape or something like that, because we did have some bad ones when I was an agent, and it made a huge difference. It didn't help your day, that's for sure, if your headset was temperamental, let's say. We once had a taxi guy tell us he picked up one of my agent's conversations as they used a Bluetooth headset that we did not know they were using. He was parked just outside the center. Ouch. Wow, that is an interesting one, Mark, isn't it? Let's hope the conversation was PG. Now then, uh, here we have, and Danny, you mentioned the problem of ambient noise by contact center. You will see that in small contact centers, it's a minor problem. That it's not considered a major problem; it's a minor problem or no problem. For medium contact centers, I'm surprised by large actually. For large contact centers, none of them said it was a major problem. 30% said it was a minor problem. Um, Why wouldn't you give the best kit to the people who are most likely to use it, i.e., the advisors? Baffling. Yeah, it's very true. And Danny, I don't want to link everything to culture, even though culture is linked to everything. But perhaps that is a sign of culture. If you're holding on to the good stuff, you're not giving the better equipment to the people that need it the most. Um, the sheer volume of damaged headsets I've had, the nightmare of untangling over the years, shudder. Yes, Scott, me and you share the same nightmare then. It was a real kind of like, oh, sigh moment, wasn't it? Battery life for frontline. Tristan, hello, sir. Battery life for frontline agents using wireless headsets likely contributes to these stats. Very good point. Good point. Well made. From Spencer, what advancements in wireless headset technology are specifically geared towards addressing the communication needs of the deaf population? Very good question, Spencer. Very good question. It's one that we can ask to these headset providers. Very interesting. Ambient noise. It's less of a problem given we're more remote than previous. Yeah, that does have a factor. It really does, doesn't it? Jordan, I think in the larger call centers, standards are high for things like language, breaks, and topics discussed within the office. Smaller contact centers tend to be more familiar, and topics can go a little ajar. Uh, maybe this is a sign of the kind of teams that I ran, Jordan. But I worked in some large centers, and I can remember because it led to disciplinaries. But we had some very tasty people having conversations that were picked up by customers. Those are things I didn't want to see written down in a HR form. Believe you me, and it's certainly not something I could repeat now. But I take your point. A smaller contact center, people are more likely to be more relaxed, I guess. And there's danger there, isn't there? Status is one of the ways people label. Holding on to one brand or splitting the quality between them and us is completely natural. So we have to be aware of whether that is a message that we want to send or not. Nice. Same with, you said we did newsletters, as I've mentioned before. From what measures are in place to address ambient noise levels in contact centres, and what protocols exist to ensure employees' hearing health, such as regular ear checkup from their local audiology? Great points again, Spencer. And I know very much with our health and safety leads, these were key considerations. Same as voice, same as ears, same as eyes. For our agents that are staring at screens, talking, listening all day long, you make a great point that we need regular checks. I think hearing the ping of a Teams message on a call recording is a problem. It was more so during lockdown. Yeah, as somebody that records podcasts very often, Aman, I do ask guests to mute their Teams because that can be distracting. So this is a great question, Phil. How is it measured? Through QA? I wonder if their callers would agree. Yeah, it's a really, really good point. A really good point. We're going to leave this part behind. We've rattled through this again. Now, Danny, there's a new section. I know you're going to love it because it comes with a VT. Let me just pick this up first. Good point, Phil. As a customer, I don't really care if there's background noise as long as I can get my stuff sorted, whether that's call center noise or someone's dog barking. Yeah, very true. Scott says it depends on what the problem is, defined as poor customer experience, increase of AHT because staff customers have to repeat details. Yeah, great point, Scott. These are all great points. This is good, Aman. We offer hearing tests at our place, which is amazing. That is genuinely amazing. VT, VT, VT. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Oh dear, I do have some fun making these. Do you want to see it again? I'm going to do it again, just quickly. So this section, I want to feature someone's comment that's already been shared today in the newsletter that I'll produce as a result of this show. And I would like you slap the bass. I would like you to all vote on who do you think who's given you the best laugh, or whose comment out of all the comments we've had today do you think I should feature prominently as comment of the show. um I will give you a moment to type in who do you think is going to be the very first, the top comment of the show. There's been some great ones already, but who do you think should have uh, the best comment? And whilst you are writing that, I'm going to do it again. Uh, Here we go. Most like I think Danny for his culture drum. Let it not be silenced. We have this one from Danny. Many people call me idealistic and complain that I bang the culture drum too much. Thank you, Perry. Um, Aman, quality assurance leader. We offer hearing tests at our place, which is amazing. Phil, good shout. Danny votes for Mark getting a new role. Yeah, that's definitely a good one. I will put all of these in because it won't take me long to put in four. But this will be a regular feature. I want to highlight all of your great work. But yes, congrats, Mark. We're very happy. Same comment twice says it all. Um, it's a shame you won't be able to join us as much, but I'm sure we will see you again. That sounded a little bit Dame Vera Lynch, didn't it? Thank you all for joining the show again. It's an absolute pleasure to do this. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you all next Tuesday. Bye, everyone.